Hello and welcome to Applied Anatomy and Physiology, AAP 301. This is the fall semester course for Anatomy and Physiology that is taught here at the College of Natural Health Sciences, Bermuda. My name is Dr. Delcina Bean Burrows. I will be your lecturer for this class as well as for AAP 302 because the Applied Anatomy and Physiology course is taught over 2 semesters. So we will get to know each other very well during this particular course, and hopefully also you will have a passion for learning about the human body, which we hope to impart to you as students. Now, the textbook that we will be using for the class is the Applied Anatomy and Physiology for Manual Therapists, the Archer and Nelson textbook. And you see the one on the left there is the first edition, and the one on the right is the second edition. It really doesn't matter which one you have. We will go ahead and provide you the ebook copy of the study guide for the first edition. And as soon as we have the one for the second one, we'll go ahead and we'll email that to you as well. But the lecture notes will pretty much be the same. So the lecture notes that come by way of the PDF that we will send to you will pretty much be the same. So it doesn't matter which one you have, as long as you have a reference book that you can look and read into. It's always nice to have the more recent additions, but as I said, it really doesn't matter which one you have for the purposes of this course. Let's talk about the course description. Applied Anatomy and Physiology provides a fundamental understanding of how the human body operates to sustain life. Anatomy is the study of structures of the human body. Physiology is the study of multiple functions associated with each structure. This course covers the shape, structure, and function of organs. Included is a study of cells and types of body tissues. Integumentary, skeletal, muscular, nervous, lymphatic, cardiovascular, respiratory, immune, and digestive systems are explored. And I should note that all of the systems will be covered over the course of both courses, the Anatomy AAP 301 as well as 302. So the fall semester we're going to get up to a point, but then in the spring semester we will continue our studies in terms of the systems of the human body. During this course, we will be placing particular emphasis on the advanced anatomy of the musculoskeletal system, with each body region covered in a separate section of the course. The link between movement and anatomy is further examined through an in-depth explanation of the biomechanics of the spinal column and major joints. The learning material is delivered through online lectures, practical labs, and online forums. And of course, we have additional information regarding the course that is provided in the course syllabus. So today in the Archer and Nelson textbook, we will be looking at Chapter 1, Applying Anatomy and Physiology to the Practice of Manual Therapy. The learning objectives for today's lecture are: upon completion of this chapter, the student will be able to discuss the importance of the study of anatomy and physiology for manual therapy practitioners. The student will be able to list and define the levels of complexity for body organization and provide an example of each. We will define homeostasis and give a few examples of common homeostatic changes. We will explain the difference between the negative and positive feedback mechanisms used to maintain homeostasis. We will compare and contrast the benefits and physiologic effects of manual therapy. We will distinguish between the structural and systemic effects of manual therapy. Based on therapeutic intent, we'll be able to list and explain 7 general manual therapy categories. We will name several examples of manual therapy techniques that fall into each of the 7 categories. We will identify 11 body systems, including the primary components and general functions of each system. So let's get started. Anatomy is the study of structure of an organism. Physiology is the study of function of body parts. Study of anatomy and physiology helps explain continual changes in the body. The levels of organization. Physiologic processes require coordinated actions of multiple body systems and structural levels. 5 levels of organization exist within the human body, from the least to the most complex. We start with the cell, then the tissue, then the organ, then the system, and then the organism. The entire human organism represents the highest level of complexity, and the least complex level is the cell, which is the basic building block of life. At the cellular level, the smallest unit of life capable of existing independently is referred to as the cell. And as we mentioned, the cell is the most basic building block of the body. And just above the cellular level is the tissue level. Tissues refers to a group of similar cells that work together. These are cells that carry out one or more specific functions. And above the tissue level is the organ level. An organ is a well-defined and organized group of tissues working together. The organ seeks to accomplish a specific set of tasks for the body. Above the organ level is the systemic or system level. A system is a group of interrelated, interdependent organs working together. A system seeks to accomplish specific functions or a set of functions. Systems are important in the role in health and well-being for the entire organism. Now, above the system level, of course, is the highest level, the organism. The organism is an integrated structure made up of systems, organs, tissues, and cells. Each level of organization functionally linked to the next. Each level is essential to our health and our well-being. Every change in the body impacts other processes or structures. Now let's talk about homeostasis. As we know, conditions inside and outside of the body are constantly changing. Homeostasis is a process whereby the body seeks to maintain a range of internal stability. So, for example, we may have a stimulus which changes the internal or the external environment. Receptors on the organs sense that stimuli. We have what is referred to as an effector cell, tissue, or organ that responds to restore or maintain homeostasis in a feedback system. And here we have a diagram of the homeostasis feedback system. The homeostatic mechanism proceeds from stimulus through the integration center to the effector, and it counteracts the original stimulus while a positive feedback loop reinforces it. And so we have at the beginning the stimulus, which is a change in the environment that disrupts homeostasis. the receptor, which are the senses that sense that change or sense the stimulus, and then we have input, the integration center, which is the nervous system or the endocrine gland, which receives input from that receptor, and then we have the output, which is the effector, and it responds to that change. The negative feedback loop, which is illustrated in figure 1.3 of your textbook, we see the response of the effector reverses change caused by an initial stimulus. For example, the regulation of blood glucose. Food intake raises the glucose level, and then higher glucose levels stimulate the receptors in the pancreas, and then the pancreas produces more insulin, which causes the cells to use more glucose, and then the blood glucose level is lowered. So this is an example of a negative feedback homeostatic loop. So here we see the diagram illustrating the negative feedback loop. The negative feedback loop is actually the most common type of homeostatic loops in the human body. Here we see the response of the effector, which counteracts the original stimulus. Homeostatic positive feedback loops are feedback mechanisms which reinforce original stimulus to promote a temporary special condition. For example, the hormonal effect in childbirth. Oxytocin is a hormone that stimulates the uterine contractions. Contractions stretch the birth canal opening, stimulating more hormone release, causing continual contractions for childbirth. Positive feedback loops are used to sustain special physiologic conditions. And as we mentioned earlier, with the example of giving birth, it begins with the stretching or opening of the birth canal, which is the stimulus. The receptors sense this stretching, and then the input goes to the posterior pituitary gland, which releases oxytocin. And then the output is such that we have increased uterine contractions. The increased contractions force the baby into the birth canal, causing more stretching. Now, when it comes to homeostasis, many manual therapists take holistic approaches to homeostasis. We tend to focus on balance of the body, mind, and spirit. Optimal health and well-being depends on a dynamic equilibrium that needs to be supported. And the diagram here illustrates the holistic representation of homeostasis. The model of homeostasis depicts the dynamic equilibrium between the body, mind, and the spirit. So now let's discuss the benefits and effects of manual therapy, as many of us will be either studying osteopathy or we will study natural health therapies. We will more than likely be using some form of manual therapy in our practice. So the benefits are to promote healing or overall health and well-being, to create changes in the body, mind, or spirit that supports homeostasis. Changes in structure or function are subjective, generalized benefits, or measurable physiologic effects. And different manual therapies will have varying physiological effects and benefits, as we will see in Table 1.1. So the diagram here illustrates the various categories of manual therapy, and it lists the physiological effects and benefits. In terms of categories, we have Swedish or relaxation. We have myofascial, also referred to as myofascial release. We have neuromuscular. We have lymphatic. We have the movement therapies. we have reflexive or zone therapies, and we also have energy techniques. So, for example, when we look at Swedish or relaxation, it is described as the sliding or gliding style of work that uses a lubricant for a full body session. The primary therapeutic intention is to create relaxation, stress reduction, reconnecting, and grounding. The common names are relaxation, massage, spa massage, stress reduction, massage, traditional massage, and wellness and health maintenance massage. If we take a look at myofascial, myofascial is described as any technique that's focused on stretching, loosening, and broadening the fascia and other connective tissues, and it's usually done with no lubricant or with minimal amounts of lubricant. The primary therapeutic intention is to improve the structural alignment and improve the range of motion, decrease pain, and improve local and fluid flow. The common names are active release techniques or ART, Aston patterning, craniosacral, halo work, joint manipulation, myofascial release or MFR, Rolfing, soft tissue release, and structural integration. And as I mentioned earlier, once we become fully qualified professionals, you will be able to pick which of these therapies you feel is best suited for the type of clientele that you will be seeing, and you will be able to use these manual therapies to the benefit of your client. But it's very nice to be able to choose and to be able to use these various techniques and to know what the various benefits are. So, as I had mentioned earlier, the categories of manual therapy, we have Swedish or relaxation, myofascial, neuromuscular, lymphatic, movement therapies, reflexive zone therapies, energy techniques. So now let's look at some of the specific effects and benefits of manual therapy, beginning with decreased anxiety, improved mental focus, improved resilience to stress, enhanced sense of well-being, improved sleep patterns. But these benefits are not attributed to a specific method or a technique. So now let's talk about specific benefits and effects of manual therapy from a physiological standpoint. And when we talk about this, we're talking about specific, objective, and quantifiable tissue, organ, and systemic changes. Sometimes a particular technique or form of manual therapy may cause specific physiological effects. Structural effects may be seen, such as physical changes, such as stretching muscles or connective tissues may be noticed. And you may have systemic effects, whereby regional or body-wide responses, such as a decreased response or sensation to pain, may be noticed. So now let's take a look at the body systems. This is the introduction to the body systems. There are 11 different organ systems in the body. Each system has its own set of tasks. Life is sustained only when all systems are in sync. Each system can be explored individually, and the body's systems are highly interdependent, meaning they are dependent on one another. The first system that we will take a look at is the integumentary system. The integumentary system protects the body, the senses, and it helps to regulate temperature. The skin forms the body's protective outer covering, making it an important part of the body's defenses. It contains thousands of general sensory receptors, and the skin serves as the body's largest sensory organ and also plays a key role in the regulation of body temperature. The color, texture, and temperature of the skin provide manual therapists with important information on the status of the underlying tissues and systems, and it serves also as the therapeutic interface for all touch therapies. The skeletal system protects organs, allows for movement, it produces blood cells, and it stores minerals. The system provides the structure and framework for the body. This framework protects the vital organs while individual bones serve as levers used by skeletal muscles to move body parts. Bones are the site of blood cell production, and they store calcium and other important minerals. Many of the structural effects of manual therapy are directed toward the connective tissues and movement receptors of the joints. In the skeletal system, bony landmarks provide therapists with important information on structural alignment and postural adaptations. The muscular system maintains posture, creates movement, and generates heat. Muscles have one single function, to contract. Skeletal muscle contractions apply tension to the skeleton to maintain an upright posture and create movement of body parts. Since muscle contractions generate heat as a primary byproduct, heat generation is another important function of the system. Most structural effects of manual therapy are derived from changes that occur in skeletal muscles and connective tissue. The nervous system communicates, coordinates, and controls all body systems. Acting as the body's communication and control center, the nervous system transmits information in the form of nerve impulses. Its complex functions can be summarized as communication, coordination, and control of all other body systems. Virtually all benefits and systemic physiological effects of touch and movement therapies are mediated in some way by the nervous system. The endocrine system coordinates and regulates body systems and processes. This system works in conjunction with the nervous system in coordinating and controlling other body systems. It functions at a slower pace than the nervous system to initiate and regulate long-term physiologic processes such as growth and sexual development, and it regulates sleep and reproductive cycles. Most manual therapies affect some change in the endocrine function that results in benefits such as stress reduction and improved mental focus and restorative sleep. The lymphatic system aids in healing and resisting disease, and it helps to maintain fluid balance. This system employs a variety of vital defense mechanisms that create resistance to disease and plays a role in healing from injury or illness. It also returns proteins and fluids to the bloodstream, which is essential to maintaining proper fluid balance in the body. And specialty manual therapy techniques such as manual lymph drainage and lymphatic facilitation are used to boost fluid return. Benefits of manual therapy such as decreased stress, relaxation, and an enhanced sense of well-being often lead to improved immune responses. The cardiovascular system carries oxygen and nutrients, it transports waste, and it promotes immune response. The primary function of the cardiovascular system is to pump blood throughout the body via a complex system of blood vessels. Blood carries oxygen and other nutrients to cells and tissues, and it transports waste for excretion. Blood also plays an important role in the immune response, and it transports hormones secreted by the endocrine glands. Some of the primary systemic effects of manual therapy on the cardiovascular system include improved local blood flow and decreased blood pressure. The respiratory system regulates the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it allows for vocalization. The system regulates the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body. When air from the external environment enters the lungs, carbon dioxide in the blood passes into the lungs, and oxygen in the new air moves into the blood. Vocalization, which is speaking, is a secondary function of this system. The passage of air over the vocal cords results in the vibrations that create voice. Structural effects of manual therapy on the muscles of respiration can result in improved efficiency and ease of breathing. The urinary system, which produces, stores, and eliminates urine, helps to maintain fluid and electrolyte balance in the body. The system produces, stores, and eliminates urine as a process that helps the body regulate pH and electrolyte balance and plays its major role in regulating fluid volumes. Manual therapy techniques that have the most direct impact on the urinary system include reflex and zone therapies, as well as lymphatic techniques that improve fluid return. The reproductive system regulates and controls reproductive processes. While male and female structures differ, the general purpose of the reproductive system is the same, which is to regulate and control the reproductive processes. This system is more dependent on the endocrine system than any other body system, since hormones regulate sexual maturity, reproductive cycles, pregnancy, and birth. Manual therapy can affect fertility and the reproductive cycle through its impact on the endocrine system and relaxation, as well as stress reduction. It can also help to ease in labor. The digestive system breaks down food into nutrients and eliminates solid waste. The process of digestion includes breaking down food into usable nutrients, which are then absorbed into the blood for transportation to the cells and tissues. The digestive system also eliminates solid waste. The relaxation and stress reduction effects of manual therapy may improve the efficiency of the digestive system. Reflex and zone therapies can be used to target specific organs and improve overall digestive function. Let us now summarize the main points of today's lecture. From least to most complex, the body's levels of organization are cells, considered to be the basic building block of the body; tissues, which is a group of like cells working together; organs, which is a group of tissues working together; systems, which is a group of organs working together; and organism, which is the body as a whole. Homeostasis is a state of internal stability or balance between all bodily processes. It is a dynamic equilibrium between all systems and processes designed to maintain optimal functioning of the body. Any change in the internal or external environment or stimulus requires these processes to shift and rebalance to maintain homeostasis. Changes in homeostasis occur through one of two mechanisms: negative feedback, in which the effector's response counteracts the original stimulus, or positive feedback, in which the effector's response reinforces the original stimulus. Manual therapy is defined as any style, discipline, or method in which pattern and purposeful touch and/or movement is applied with therapeutic intent. The benefits of manual therapy are considered to be those general and subjective changes that are beneficial to overall health and well-being, regardless of the form utilized. Physiologic effects of manual therapy are the specific, objective, and quantifiable tissue, organ, or system changes created by a particular form or technique. Effects can be categorized as structural, meaning that qualities of muscle, fascia, or other connective tissue have been changed, or systemic. Systemic effects are cellular, circulatory, and/or nervous system mediated responses that occur regionally or throughout the body. Okay, so we've reached the end of our lecture, and for this first assignment, assignment number 1, I'd like for you to make a table of the systems of the human body and describe their functions. You're also going to describe or define homeostasis. You're going to describe the benefits and effects of manual therapy. And you're also going to discuss the lymphatic system and name its primary functions. Now, you will get the information about the lymphatic system in the article that would have been sent to you. And I know we didn't specifically talk about a lymphatic system when we looked at all the systems of the body, but the lymphatic system is actually something relatively new, that a concept that they've recently come up with. In fact, when I went to school all those years ago and I studied anatomy and physiology, no one was talking anything about a lymphatic system. So, you know, as we learn more and I guess science advances, you know, we call things different things. So, you know, but in any event, I'd like you to state why it's important, in your opinion, for manual therapists to have an understanding of what the system is. And the lymphatic system will also be the topic for our forum for the anatomy and physiology class for this week. So whatever information you learn about that, you can also use the same information when it comes to our discussions on the forum. Now, if you need to contact me, or if you're having any difficulty regarding this lecture, you can always shoot me an email and we can set up a time that we can meet during my office hours, which are from 4 to 6 on Thursdays. And failing that, you can always either text me or give me a call on 703-7327. Okay, so I look forward to receiving your assignments and our discussions that we will have in the forum. Have a great week.